In 1973, I had turned my backyard over to fun. I was going to make every kind of solar thing that I could get hands on plans that I could do. And so I made a lot of stuff. I made reflective cookers and parabolic cookers and slant-faced cookers and a distiller and a food dryer and a doghouse food dryer. I was still looking for all kinds of plans that I could build. And I had heard just a sentence that said there was a box that cooked. And I kept trying to find the plans for that, and I couldn't find them. One dull day, I had a box. I had a piece of glass in the garage, and so I started to try to put a box together, and it cooked. It turned out to be a very generic design. They're very simple. You can see here that it's a box that's insulated. It's got a double pane of glass to let the sun in but hold the heat. And it has a reflector. You put the food in by taking the lid off. And inside, there's something dark that converts the sunlight to heat. This is raised up a little bit off the bottom of the box because they found at the University of Washington that you get 15 to 20 degrees better temperature to take the black surface off of the bottom so it can't drain heat that way. It all has to come into the pot. The thing that makes heat is the sun rays striking dark. When it's a black pot with food in it, if you keep the heat from escaping, it will build up to cooking temperatures. You don't have to have 400, 450 degrees. Food starts to cook at about 185. When we became aware that the lower temperatures that we could reach with these simple systems cook well, then we had a whole line of development. And the food cooked at those lower temperatures are known to taste better. It makes tender meats, it brings out the flavor in vegetables and in grains. We not only were able to reach those temperatures with simple systems, those temperatures were better. You were a critical component because I was playing. I was literally playing with all these things in my backyard.
They were fascinating.
You were the one that says, that's a stove that needs to be told about. I remember very clearly trying to make something that would lift the glass. And I put up a flagpole and a block and tackle. You can't do that. No one would ever use that. I said, but we can't burn our hands. So we fussed around, and finally we found out you could just take a stick at the front of the glazing. Your hand's down here, the heat's going to come out here. This was the glazing. And you can just prop it up like that. And your hand is all out of the way, you see. Now that's a whole lot simpler than my block and tackle. And that's the kind of thing that she has been priceless at. This is the solar oven. The insulated door allows me to put whatever I want to in there. And it's wonderful. I mean, it's like the top of the wood range you used to have where you could put anything you wanted to cook gently and long term. It withstands winds and intermittent snowstorms and rainstorms.
And the do-it-yourself plans for people to make their own have gone many, many places, thousands of them.
We have cardboard plans. We also have plans for a wooden oven. We got 110 requests.
125.
125 requests, and not a word on paper.
We didn't
Not
have
a sketch of anything.
slightest idea how you get plans.
That was when we realized that there was a need, a recognizable need that is beyond the curiosity beyond just showing that the sun will do these things is very interesting. And what we did was we made a thing that would do that. And therefore, we made a step from theory to practicality. And the moment we made that step, we got this outpouring of interest. Dr. Metcalf in California ordered one of our big models, and that was almost a mistake. It weighed 80 pounds. We were really working to try to get this thing even to the bus station to ship it. We got this down to the Greyhound station. They took it over in Sacramento. He opens it up. He's expecting a toy. It's this full-size cooker. This was in 1978. I mean, you can put 4 big pots in there. He looks at that, he takes out his first pot, and he realizes that this is really something he wants to devote his life to. And as a microbiologist, he could see the need for the ability to sterilize and pasteurize as well as cook. And every summer for 17 years now, their family has been fed out of that same cooker. When I go over there to visit, there is ye old solar box that is still there.
These are all variations on solar boxes. This is the Kerr coal cooker, which is our original one. You just flip the lid back and put your food in. It's a very good cooker. The solar box cookers international arranged to get one that will collapse down. And it will go into this size box, whereas that one does not collapse. This one is a version of that made from home construction plans. Home an engineer from the University of Arizona has designed this very nice concentrated parabolic collector which internalizes the reflector. It has a reflector inside in certain locations like here. It's wonderful because it's wind resistant. This thing's heavy on the bottom. If the wind comes, it just scoots around like that. This is a light we sent to Bob Metcalf. It was designed so that you can take the kinds of wood that is produced in our lumber industry and cut square cuts and put it together. I blew a little tab on the top glazing and just set it in there because I don't want to trap moisture in there that I can't get out. In the bottom is again a black tray that is up on some elevations so that it's lifted off the bottom. The temperature that this one gets, it is maximized at 354, but more or less in the 300 degree range. This was built as a prototype in 1985, and I've used it every year since. And you can see how the air flows through the intake, up through the collectors, into the top of the cabinet. This is a tray in the bottom, and it's not quite crackling. I like them to be brittle. I like chilies to be brittle. The tomatoes are finished. Those will be used chopped up in salads or put into casseroles or soups or just eaten like fruit. They're delicious. This is a collection of the food that has been processed for preservation. This is all corn, okra, carrots, squash, broccoli. They go into soups. They're great soups. For my soup, I also have tomatoes that are canned in the solar box oven, apples, raisins, peaches, apricots. Any kind of juicy fruit dries beautifully in there. When you make the standard size that we make out of our warehouse, you can take a case of quart jars, fill them full of water, put it in, and if you don't paint the quartz dark, it takes 6 to 7 hours in
Arizona sun to bring it up to pasteurization temperature. Then you've got 3 gallons of water, containerized in sterilized containers with lids on. You can take them wherever you want to. You can carry them in your backpack, you can put them in the truck, you can put them on the shelf and keep them. I consider that we're making slow progress. Without you, it would never happen.